Can Christians date non-believers? Here is a conversation on this series today. Can Christians date non-believers? You are a Christian. They are not, but the chemistry is hot. So should you date them? Or is it a one-way ticket to a spiritual disaster? We're going to be unfolding this in the series today. I've seen these questions stir up debates among youth groups, even among married couples. Some says, love conquers all, while others warn that unequally yoked relationship leads to spiritual struggles. So what's the real deal? Interfaith relationship, a beautiful challenge or a biblical red flag? Today, we'll break it all down. We're going to look at it biblically, practically, and with real life examples. So stay with me. So why does this topic matter today? Let's be real. Faith-based relationship isn't what it used to be. All right. It's not easy to just walk into a church and get a partner. Today we have dating apps, we have social media, we have diverse workplaces. Christians are more likely than ever to meet and fall for non-believers because of the dating landscape today. Now, don't get me wrong, church is still a good place where you can find a partner and you can still find a partner. However, according to a 2022 Pew Research study, this research is for the US, it said interfaith marriages in the US have risen to 39%, meaning nearly 4 in every 10 marriages involve partners of different religious beliefs. That's huge. But what does this mean for Christians? Does love justifying dating outside the faith, or should we stick strictly to believers? So let's check out what the scripture actually says. In 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, Paul actually writes, he says, "For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness, or what fellowship has light with darkness?" Very straight conversation that Paul has here. Paul has a way of talking. So that's a strong warning. But what does unequally yoked even mean? When you say do not be unequally yoked, what does it mean? In Bible times, a yoke was a wooden structure that links two animals together to plow a field. So if one animal was stronger than the other, the plowing became uneven and ineffective. So the same principle applies to relationships today. If two people aren't spiritually aligned, their journey together may become a struggle. Just like the two animals, they are together, they are trying to pull a weight, but one is stronger, one is weak, so he pulls it here while the other one delays. That's exactly what Paul was illustrating there. So the question is, but does this mean dating a non-believer is always a disaster? Let's dig deeper. So let's say you decide to go for it. You're a Christian and they are not, but they respect your faith. It seems harmless. They kind of flow with what you believe. In the name of the love they profess, they accept the same thing you believe. Not like they are converted, but they just follow what you believe. They respect it. Here is where it starts to get tricky. Okay. Number one, different priorities. For example, you're fasting and praying, but they're out eating and brunching and cooking. You want to honor God, you want to fast, but here's your partner not doing the same. They don't even see the need for it. Over time, differences like this can begin to create emotional and spiritual distance. So the bonding you're meant to have emotionally becomes an issue because now you have different opinions as regards that. Number two, raising children. If you get married, you begin to think, how do you want to raise your kids? It might not become apparent at the dating stage, but that's the truth. One parent wants the children to go to church every Sunday. The other doesn't see the point. He says, man, I grew up without the church and you liked me, so I don't think I want that. This difference can begin to cause major conflict. Second reason. The third reason, spiritual growth stagnation. Let's be honest. Who you date influences your faith. If your partner doesn't encourage your spiritual growth, you might find yourself compromising bit by bit. What you love, your partner doesn't love. You might find yourself, for example, you want to read the Bible, you want to do devotions, and your partner doesn't really care about that. You might find yourself dropping the steam just because you don't have a support from somebody you dearly love. Does that sound familiar? So if you have been in this situation or you have seen this situation, you can also drop the comments to, corroborate my points. Now, before you think that I'm saying that interfaith relationship never work, no. Let's talk about some exceptions. There are exceptions. And the Bible even mentions examples of those exceptions. We're going to get there. So we have seen some Christian couples. They started out unequally yoked, but one partner eventually comes to Christ, and the family came to Christ and they blended and they became strong. Even in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1 to 2, 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1 to 2, it talks about how an unbelieving spouse can be won over by the faithfulness of a believing partner. So there's room for that, especially when it has happened. For example, some people are married. One is a believer, one is not. They won't divorce the husband just because of that. So we've heard of stories of someone leading their spouse to Jesus. It could even be in a dating stage, their boyfriend or their girlfriend to Jesus. But the truth is, it is risky to build a relationship on the hope that someone will change. Like one of my dear friends would say, I'm not a missionary. You are signing up for emotional, mental, and spiritual strains with no guarantees. Because they decide to marry them doesn't guarantee they will become a Christian. So the big question is, are you willing to go through that stress? Okay? Are you willing to risk your faith for romance? That would be the question. Are you willing to do that? So where does that leave us? Here's my honest take. 1, if your faith is your priority, your partner should support it, not challenge it. The partner you pick should support that priority, not challenge that priority. It's very important. Number 2, a relationship built on spiritual differences might work, but it will require consistent compromise with a lot of emotional energy. Are you ready for that? Okay. So the next point is, instead of asking, can I date a non-believer? Or will this relationship work if I date a non-believer? The question will be, can I find a relationship that pulls me closer to God? Personally, my answer is no. You should not date an unbeliever. One thing is clear. Dating should be intentional, right? Don't let chemistry outweigh your conviction. Very important. Don't let romance outweigh your faith. Very important. I know this is a hot topic, and I know not everybody will agree with my take, but try to explain and balance things out. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you dated a non-believer before? How do you see the difference in opinion, difference in thinking? All right. Let me know. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for faith-based discussions, especially our test series. See you in the next video.